My friends, I'm joining you from Tel Aviv, Israel. On Passover, at the Seder table, we pronounce the 10 plagues that God visited upon the ancient Egyptians. The 9th plague was the plague of darkness. And according to our sages, it was a special kind of darkness. It was not a darkness that affected the eyes, but it was a darkness that affected the heart physically. They were able to see, but they did not feel for each other. They did not care for one another. V'lo ra'u ish et achiv. They were blind to each other's needs. Each person saw only him or herself. And that, my friends, is the most terrible plague of all. A plague of darkness has now engulfed Israeli society. The streets of Israel have boiled over with anger and frustration for 3 months and continue to seethe after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu paused in his controversial plan to reform the judicial system. A package of laws that will curtail the power of Supreme Court judges over the elected government, a plan designed to give Israel's parliament, the Knesset, the final word on legal matters. The passion and persistence of the anti-judicial reform protests, as well as a growing polarization over the government's plans, have unnerved many throughout Israel, including Israeli President Isaac Herzog, who warned of an abyss that is tearing Israel apart. Historically, Jews have always had the tendency to rip ourselves asunder, and yet, for all of Israel's difficulties and challenges, its social cohesiveness and the solidarity of its citizens has never been in doubt. Jewish unity is not just a cliche. Jewish unity is our sacred responsibility. Jewish unity must be our foremost priority. We do not just tolerate diversity, we welcome it, we embrace it. And within that unity, there has never been uniformity when it comes to policy choices. Israel is a hyper-democratic culture of activism. In the 1950s, the issue was accepting reparations from post-Holocaust Germany. In 2005, massive protests on the removal of 8,500 Israeli citizens from Gaza, protests, debates that were painful and traumatic. But the democratic mechanisms and unity of Israel persevered. Unity can be achieved even when there is a lack of uniformity. Uniformity harms unity. By diminishing the power of diversity, we desire togetherness, not sameness. We can only be united when we seek harmony with diversity. V'lo ra'u ish et achiv, the plague of darkness. They were blind to each other's needs. Each person saw only him or herself. As hundreds of thousands have filled the streets of Israel in massive protests, the challenge is to promote a society in which difference is valued and treasured, a politic of unity, not of uniformity. Thus, we will escape the darkness and the truth will emerge as light. Chag kasher v'sameach, a joyous and meaningful Passover to you and to your loved ones.